All right, let's get the show on the road just a little bit early today. As usual, I want to thank the patrons John K., Andrew C., Lady Quickblood, 35, Moonbad, Bobas D., Craig B., Jimmy M., Drac Wizard, James C., Macy J., Tipsy Thomas, James B., Wallach, Jason G., Michael W., Christian M., Cornite Care Barrow, Linneus Pius, Road Dog, King of Salt, Soul Blighter, Sage MC, and PP Pasquale. We even got Sage MC in the audience today. What's up, Shadow? I have started just a little bit early here today, so I thought we could do that. That much at least. All right. I'll wait for a sound check. What's up? Just in time. Yeah, I started early today. I figured I got three people waiting, and I just figured I'm already here. I'm set up. The technology seems to work, and I figured I'd start. So how's it sound? Should sound a little better now that I know that I can move this microphone closer to me, and I don't really have to worry about it with how loud my voice is already. So we'll do that. I figured we could start out with a little what do you call it? Little senseless self-promotion right here. Just for the patrons right now, you've got the first two Halloween videos are up right there, and that one of these will be released every single day in October. So you've got the first one is Dracula Has Risen from the Grave. I thought I would start to do some of the videos that I first reviewed on the old channel bring them onto the YouTube channel and delete those ones from the old channel forever, and then keep those as a backup. And then the second one, I'm actually way proud about this one because I remembered to turn this microphone on during it, whereas like I was using the camera mic, the stream mic that this computer has. Witchfinder General, a good Vincent Price film. So you got two classic British horror movies out there. Actually, Witchfinder General is a conglomeration of a smaller company, namely Tygon, trying to sell Hammer horror to American audiences using American money. Hence, that's why you got Vincent Price in three movies. Witchfinder General, which was called Conqueror Worm in the UK, and then you got The Cry of the Banshee and The Oblong Box. All three of these movies starred Vincent Price and Hilary Dreyer. I like how they have that Patrick Wymark right there as Oliver Cromwell with Patrick Wymark. Cool thing about Witchfinder General is they kind of filmed it amidst the backdrop of the English Civil War, and it's actually probably one of my favorite films. Definitely a must-own if anyone's seen that. So that's available early to the patrons. I'm going to hopefully finish the third video in the Halloween series for the month of October today and tomorrow. So there's that. I wanted to go into this one and do some window shopping. Let me bring the stream studio over here for a moment so that I can monitor chat and see what everybody's saying. Just for a second there. Hey Hungar, how you doing? Everything sounds good. Howdy MZ. And we got Go For It Painting. What's up again, buddy? Historical Doppelganger. Hello, fellas. Yes, Witchfinder General is a classic. And then I was just, every now and then when I'm waiting for my first cup of coffee to brew, I go window shopping, and I found this. Now, this guy did a really good job on it. The problem I have is the price. And bohum and bollocks, wouldn't you know it? It's another one of those UK sellers. And I'm just asking a paltry $24.41 American per figure. The guy is delusional. I'm not delusional. I live in Knightsbridge. I will say that he's done a top-notch job. If I go into some of these, let's see, oh, here's a good picture. This is a really good picture of his questing knights. Yeah, he did a good job. I'm not going to pay, I would gladly give him $20 a night. I would gladly pay him $20 a night. And he's got to shift a little bit on the infantry. But other than that, that's some stellar work if you're looking to get a Bretonnian army. Now, of course, I'm really lazy. Really, really, really lazy. Now, this could warrant a higher price if he had actual Grail Knights and Pegasus Knights. But he's got 36 mounted figures in this army, I believe. And it's pretty colorful. Let's see what else we got here. We're going to... The men-at-arms. Let's take a look at the men-at-arms. They're pretty good looking. These yeomen right here. A little bit of a... What's up, War Game 341. I have everybody on the wrong screen. I'm just trying to monitor chat. Yeah, this is a good paint job. It did catch my eye, but it's just not. I can't do 20. I can't conscionably do 24. I'll just round it up. $24.50 American per figure. You know, I don't think anybody should. You know, now granted, on all of his mounted figures, I'd make the deal at about $20 a guy. $20 a guy. You know, because I don't find that to be too unreasonable. But the price break on the infantry here, you know, I mean, just like, you know, as far as what they're worth, let's take a deeper look at these guys if we can. You know, he's got some good color on them and everything. 22 archers. He's got a couple of the old ones mixed in there. You know, it's not terrible looking, but you know, just on the infantry themselves, I'm gonna run them about $8 a guy. $8 a guy max on the infantry, because the base job doesn't match the base job on the knights. It nominally does. You could tell that he's painted this at different times throughout his tenure of having these guys. You know, the base right here. But I will give him this: if he hurried up and did these figures, he gets an A for effort, because you got the paladin right here, mounted paladin right there, with the lance and the sword, and the basing matches this. That means the army was done at different times, and he just couldn't really, and he wanted to make it work, so everything's uniformed, everything's done, you know, and most people are so freaking lazy these days that they just throw it on eBay as is. It's like, oh, I was too fat, dumb, and stupid and lazy to glue the heads and arms of the miniature on before I tried to sell it. So here's some junk. Oh, cool. That guy popped off the base and I broke his leg. Oh, well. Oh, I didn't break his leg. I see what I did there, though. Here's some junk. You know, I got a guy with a base. He's not glued onto the base, but I'll throw it up on eBay, you know, because P is for pirate and what the fuck ever. You know, I'll just be patient and let eBay do the heavy lifting. You know, I really think that after a certain point, if you live in the UK, this is a good business thing for eBay right here. You should charge people in the UK to use the site after a year. So if they're still selling the same crumb bum model from the 90s that's all decapitated and it looks like somebody put it in a blender with some paint and it's just sitting there on eBay, and it's like, I run a shop, it's a serious job, it's my second job, you know. The eBay should start charging those motherfuckers. Just my personal opinion. What's up, Justin Tort? How you doing? How's Canada? What's going on in the Great White North, eh? But yeah, so just very colorful, you know. But again, like I said, I might make the offer at $20 a night. I don't think the guy would like that much, but you know, $24.50 American per guy, for every guy. Yeah, not really worth it, especially when you go back to the picture of the infantry here, and these guys are just a basic, you know, basic coat and a wash. I mean, it looks like he did do some of the other archers that are older that he did take his time on, and he did the eyes on. I mean, they look pretty good, but at the same time, the basing doesn't match. But nobody's going to be looking at your archers. I will give him that, you know. Let's go to the next picture here. I really like this guy right here with the boar thing. His freehand's pretty solid all the way down and everything. But of course, oh, this one's really good right here. Wish I could zoom in on that, but it's not, you know. These blue and yellow guys, very flowing, very colorful, very individualistic knights. Again, this guy probably finished at a different time. These guys were quickly finished. I don't think he had done the basing, because these are, or it could be two different commission jobs from two different painters. You just don't know. But, you know, I mean, with how good the knights are, I mean, it's a top-notch job. I would go $20 a night with that, you know, I mean. Just not 25. A little bit more. I'd probably do 21 if the bases were unified. As you notice, these bases look really good, you know, but this is very reminiscent of how the Chinese base all their models too. So there's that to look out for, you know, I mean. But no, it's a solid army so far on the window shop here. Let's see. Let's get a closer look at these guys. Yeah, they're very noble, very handsome knights today. Here we go. Here's a good side view of these guys. Yeah, look at that. That's some solid freehand right there. Some solid freehand. He looks like he got the... my Micron pen is dead. I gotta get a new one. What is this? Prismacolor Premiere. Okay. 5.0. I gotta get a new Micron pen. That's gotta be on my list there. This looks pretty good though, the lines and everything. Just real nice and smooth. Down. Really good. But, you know, like I said, A for effort on some of these bases, because, you know, a lot of times, you know, I mean, if you know, a lot of times people just sell it as is because they're done with the project and they don't, you know, but if you're going to sell something, you know, at least have the decency to kind of finish it off, and that's what this guy did, you know. Don't just throw something on there haphazardly and be like, buy it, bitch, you know, like some of these other humanoid sellers. Real solid yellow job. Really solid yellow job. Must have done a little wet blending. I like this classic model, this pewter. But then again, that model, we just looked, I mean, looking at the backs of these knights, I like how they got all their gear with them. Hold on. Let me go back to where this lord was. Yeah. Again, but this model's so old, you know, I mean, with its age and, like, the technology we have today, you know, I couldn't do higher than 50 on that guy. No, I couldn't. I just, in good conscience, I couldn't, you know. I mean, it kind of looks like it's got clown hands by this point in time, you know. I mean, it's really showing its age, but it's still a pretty good job for people who might play, for the soy jacks that might play Old Hammer or some shit like that, you know. But, you know, it never hurts to window shop, you know. But I just, $8 a guy on the infantry. I mean, he's got, let's see, 30 of these guys. You know, I wouldn't run them in horde formation, but, you know, I mean, of course, I never ran men-at-arms. I would run the 20-man brick of archers. That's a must. Get something else going downfield. I'd run the 5-man squad, but instead of having 30 of these guys, I'd probably opt for another 5-man squad of yeomen. You know, and I look at armies and I see how I would build mine. Yes, I would run the buses of knights. That is something I would do, but definitely love the questing knights. This guy's really good. I really like this, the champion of the unit right here. Again, the only thing I don't like about this kit was how heavy this pewter banner was. You know, and you always had to Dremel out the guy's hand, put a metal rod in his hand, and then glue that to the goddamn pewter banner. I have terrible memories of the questing knight banner, the Grail banner. What do you call it? Let's go over to the men-at-arms here. This guy. This is the Paladin Standard Bearer model right here, where you can see my mouse flashing around. And this guy in yellow right here with the lance and the sword. Totally, what I did was I basically sawed off his hand, his pewter hand, and I put a Knight of the Realm hand on there with the plastic banner is what I did. And then I put decals on that banner. So the banner would match the one that the unit guy is holding right here. You know, but he has 36 mounted infantry. Let me just go down to the description here. You know, you know, and I'm not talking shit on this, but yeah, the price tag is delusional. And then he wants I need £100 to post, no less than that. I get it on the shipping, but if somebody's gonna give you 2,400 American for your army, dude, you're gonna have to pay the shipping on that. You know, once you reach past the $1,500 marker on an army sale on eBay, I'm going to say you're going to have to pick up the shipping. Yeah, it sucks unless you're going to a far country. You know, it's. I mean, if you're selling this to an Australian, I am totally for fucking over the Commonwealth, the peasant scum. Or if I'm sending it to Canada, no offense to them, it's just that they're not proper Brits like us. And we don't give jobs to the people in Commonwealth either. Not like the Canadians could write a good game over at Games Workshop. That's why we only hire from people who live in Kensington Gardens. And it shows. Just look at Warhammer 40k 10th edition. We got ChatGPT to write that one, and then we dumped it on the community. So he's got 8 mounted Knights of the Realm, 9 mounted Knights of the Realm, another 9 mounted Knights of the Realm, yellow and blue. I used as Grail Knights. Yeah. What were Grail Knights? I think they weren't 55 points a guy. Oh God, they were 38 points a guy. Grail Knights were 38 points a guy. That's a good chunk of coin right there. But I would have used I would have rolled up strong with a unit of 9 errant knights, 9 mounted Knights of the Realm, 8 mounted Knights of the Realm, and then I wish he had some Pegasus Knights, because if you were to ask me, about like not hiring from the Commonwealth, I think that there's some good Australian players and good Canadian players of Warhammer products out there that they could hire to make the game, like Ash Baker from Canada, or what's his name, Stephen B. DeMarco. Those two guys who are of the what do you call it, stock, mini wargaming stock. They'd be good people to have on staff full time. Let them do their YouTube channels. And I don't think they would leak anything. I just think that they would do a good job in design because they played all of the games so much, 10th edition 40k was literally written by ChatGPT. It's a terrible. I give it a 2 out of 5. And you got to they really botched up on that. When they released the the Tyranid book, it got an FAQ for its points next day. They FAQ'd the points next day on that. So, they really mishandled the release of 10th edition. It's been out for 5 months. They're still fixing bugs. And one of the things that I complained about on 10th edition was the point and click elements that Orcs don't really seem to have a lot of. We have a couple, but Marines have them. Necrons have it. Like, if I were to, when I read the Necron thing and I really reviewed after my first couple games with Necrons, and I still got my note right here, and I did the math. Okay, so each of the 2 players that are playing in the game share a battle round. A battle round is 1 turn, 1 game lasts 5 battle rounds. That's fine. Necrons, and I think they're going to be the next book after Marines, were basically given carte blanche to bring their warriors back to full strength almost no matter what. Now, I want you to, I'm going to talk to my OGs here for a second. I want you to picture playing 6th edition Warhammer Fantasy and being able to create 6d6 plus 6d3 plus 2 skeletons per turn in your magic phase, no matter what. You would literally be unbeatable. I could put a blood dragon up in the front of a unit of skeletons, and they're literally going nowhere. That's an average of 50 guys a turn. Or if I could create an average of 50 skeletons a turn. So it's like, I can get my skeletons on the side here. There's 50 of them. We charged you in the flank. All right. I also got next turn another unit of skeletons, and I Van Hale's danced them into your flank because I got my 1 spell through. But no matter what, I get to bring back 50 skeletons a turn. Vampire counts would have been unbeatable, and that's kind of what they've done to Necron Warriors. They've nerfed it a little bit with points changes and everything, but they can really resurrect the crap out of their warrior units and everything. And then they re-points priced. I mean, they've addressed things quickly, but 10th edition was not ready for release at the beginning. If that answers your question, my friend up there in the Great White North. What's up for it? What's up? Go for it. Painting. Do you have a channel you want to shout out? I don't know if you can post links, but you can give it a try if you got a little channel that if if you got links to your channels, gentlemen, you can always post them in my descriptions, and or I will post them myself. YouTube's pretty, they're assholes over there, to say the least, you know. Just buttholes over there, you know. I mean, there's not much to say about that. Yeah, 55 infantrymen. I think that would be about $440 if I were to, you know, as much as I don't want to pay top dollar for the paint job on those guys, I'd say 7 would be a fair price. And I'd be about, yeah, $400, $385 at about $7 a guy for the infantry. $20 for, what is that? Is that 36? I think that's 36. Oh, that's 31. That's 31 if I, oh, plus 5 questing nights. All right. All right, yeah, so 36 mounted guys, times that by 20. Yeah, 36 mounted guys, that's $720 for his knights. You know, we add plus 385. $1,105, more realistic price, you know, just for the bulk of the army. I'm not counting the trebuchet, which, you know, let's look at that trebuchet one more time because he did a good job on that, you know. You know, I always like looking at armies that I haven't painted because then I'll get ideas and then I'll just end up doing the same thing I would have done anyway, you know. Let's go back in here. The tree, what's the tree bucket? I always called it the tree bucket. I think that's how you spell it too. Yeah, top-notch job on these. You know, I'd put the trebuchet on a chariot base, but that's just me. But, you know, I really like that paint job on there. You got that nice cracked wood. You got the guys around it, you know. So, you know, 60 for the war machine. Now, the model itself today with inflation is worth 60. But, you know, I mean, let's see here. We'll go 25 plus 20. Yeah, $60 is fair. You got 5 models. That's $12 each. You know. Or if I wanted to, yeah, that'd be a fair price for that. You know. Again, war machines are just one of those things that and you have to have 2 of them. So I got to ding him here because he doesn't have 2 of them. 2 of them is pretty viable. I never really ran it. I only ran it sometimes. In 8th edition, I started to run it because it was Strength 5, D3 wounds, and it would just devastate Ogre Kingdom units. It's like, oh, look, I touched 2 ogres, I wounded them both, and now you're taking 2d6 wounds into the unit. Oh, I killed 2.5 ogres. Who would have thought? I rolled an 11. I got like the best possible outcome from my trebuchet, and it just won its points right there. That unit got charged next turn by my Knights of the Realm, and I ran them off the table. But really good, solid job. I've always liked this guy with the bandage on his head, breaking rocks. Yeah, let's see here. What else we got? What else have I been looking at on eBay? I've been looking at terrain, looking to up my terrain game. You got anything else down here? Ooh, huge Skaven army, Forge World, you know, OOP out of package, rare. Let's take a look. We're not doing nothing, you know. I'm going to be painting 10 millimeter models. Yeah, people do spam a lot of random crap, you know. Well, if you guys aren't doing anything later, hit up Go For It painting. Not to mention, aren't you a channel, Mr. Command Bunker? You know, I'm sorry if you are. You know, I'm an a-hole. I need to look into more. I need to start stalking my fans. That's what I need to start doing. You know, I need to start stalking my fans. Let's see what he's got here. Decent looking Skaven army. Lots of good choices. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Here we go. Let's get into this. Boom. Yeah, standard bell job. I like that. That's pretty cool. Whatever that is, I like. I'm not against it. That's just disgusting. A bunch. It looks like Freddy Krueger when he had all those people in his belly and they couldn't get out, and they're like, ugh. At least dust it off, buddy. I can, I'm taking a look at this picture in close up, and I'm like, oh god, dude, you could have finished the base and dusted this base off. They did a good job on it. I think it needs a little wash, but decent. Not up to my friend's standard, but up to my standards. Love the gore effects here. I never really do a lot of gore, but I love the gore. That's old shitty Bill, the Hell Pit Abomination there. Plague Furnace. Okay, he's got ton of Giselles. Giselles are assholes. That's some deterring firepower right there. There's some good chaff. You see, and this is what I'm talking about. If you're going to put the army up for sale, the least you could have done was finish those guys in the back rank. Come on. Finish that base, I mean, you only have to paint the dust it off and paint the stone gray. But it's a solid job on all of his rats, Oh, this guy's pretty cool. And fix it! Unless that's bent by design. I don't think that's bent by design, dude. You're going to ship that out to some guy and it's going to break. At least have the decency to fix it. Am I being too harsh on that one? Are my standards ridiculous? I don't think my standards are ridiculous. This is a good, solid paint job. I mean, I like that Skaven Wizard right there. What is he called? The Gray Seer. Freaking badass paint job right there. Different. You don't see it a lot. He's using, I like the flesh color on the rats. It's really good. But, I mean, if you're going to sell something that's broken, at least, if you got a fully painted army for the most part, at least have the decency to finish it. Or at least do that. Put the guy on a painted rock. Okay, this picture doesn't make any sense. eBay will allow you to rotate it. He's got his pubes all over this one too. Okay, I don't want your Skaven Lord with the pubes on it. Let's get a model count going for that. Now, again, it's another UK seller. Go figure. God damn. What is it? Let me just see something here. That's the UK. I can already tell that this is a UK auction without even looking at it. United Kingdom. Oh my god. Seriously, doesn't your country have doesn't the men in your country have jobs or anything better to do than to sit around and paint miniatures? I know I paint my fair share of miniatures, but I'm also at this thing called work. Oh, we just brought up the orc queue here, so we'll go back. I guess we close that tab. Let's go down. Let's see if there's anything else. I think we've covered the window shopping portion for today. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, here we go. We got into some 30K stuff. Do I dare? I dare. I dare. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll go in, take a look at this. Oh, it looks like it's good looking. Here we go. Here we go. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chariots. Lots of cavalry. Now, this is an orc army that gets stuck in. Too bad it's a blurry picture. He's got this video here. Here it comes. I'm drunk. Camera's going for it. Good job on the black orcs. Yeah, yeah. Digging it. Solid paint job. Solid. This is what I'm talking about. This is probably the most solid army I've seen today. And I just randomly pulled it up. Everything matches. You can tell that he put a lot of love into that. Look at this. Those are all War Boss models, by the way. Those 5 guys on the left. Oh, that's it. It's the end. Oh, it's not the end of the video. But, yeah, 4 chariots. That's badass as all hell, dude. Grimgor with his black. He's got this Mantic guy right here. Not bad with the Mantic guy right there. Boss with a great weapon. Bunch of Arrow Boys. Which are like the hardest models to rank up, by the way. But the Arrow Boys look good. Kind of goblin-y. Boar Boys. I'm a fan of Boar Boys. Let's finish looking at the stills. Yeah. Good stuff here. The most solid one I've seen. Uh-oh. Age of Sigmar. Don't want to look at any of that. Alright, alright. I guess I can get to work, too. Let me respond to something real quick. Alright. We can really just kind of start the show, I guess, huh? Boom. Close out of that. Close out of that. I guess we can just bring this back over to there where I can monitor. We can turn on the camera. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we got to get rid of display capture. Oh, I forgot to have Akka up. All right, well, hold on now. There she is. There she is. There's what everybody came to see right there. Everybody came to see Akatsuka. There we go. We'll get a good look at that. There we go. Yep. Opai just say. Misasate kudasai. There we go. All right. Okay, we're in. I think we're in the pipe 5x5. Let's, all right. Start off with a little green ink. I'll catch up on chat. Hello, Tyler. How are you doing? Well hung and dung. Always a pleasure. Let's see. You were watching Amaranth before me. Didn't she just lose her eggs or something? I know some really famous VTuber just hit the age of 29 and all of a sudden her body started to take a crap on her, which doesn't make a lick of sense because if you're a top tier VTuber, I mean, not VTuber, titty streamer on Twitch, you know, and you're basically baby's first chatterbait and you're one of those girls that's making like about, I don't know, $250,000 a year from your, what do you call it, your pay piggies, and then all of a sudden you hit the wall, you turn 29 and your eggs basically dry up like a waxworks, you know, and you're sitting there crying about how I'll never have children, you know. I mean, you know what's funny is that women never ever think about that crap when they're young. They're always like, where are the billionaires at? I'll go to the island where there's a 90% chance of getting eaten by a grizzly bear, but I have a 1% chance of meeting a billionaire. That's women. That's their thought process right there. All right. I guess we can go to the first order of business. Now, I actually got this somewhat good today. Somewhat better than I normally do. somewhat better than I normally do. So good news for my projects and everything is that everything that I've got is what's left. This guy, got 2 of these Beastmen left, and I've got this. And I don't have anything else in the queue to start. I have 1 orc model that I've got to buy, and that's it. And I'm done with orcs for a little while. And so I can probably dip back into the Beastmen in a month or two. I could buy not in a month, but in a couple of weeks, I can dip back into the Beastmen pool. But these are the last 3 Beastmen to be painted up. I can start bringing out some of the Minotaurs, getting them ready to paint. I have to clean them off one more time. Like, there was like 9 layers of paint on the Minotaurs that I bought back from my buddy at 120. I think I should ask for $20 back so I can give it to one of my friends. But my friend did win that money game bet, so you know I guess he got his in the end. They called child services on her for digging up her eggs. All right, so let's see. I do know one thing. I want a drop of water in this, just one. Got my do-rag right here. Put that there. And we can go to work on some of these AfterDarkPrints.net, which I forgot to shout out in the, what do you call it here? Bring that there. There we go. We can jam. All right, there. I don't want to waste too much of my time, so I'm going to get the green out now because that's just not going to stain. And the whole point of this is to kind of get it, you're basically staining the miniature. That's okay, there we go. I'm actually looking forward to finishing the 3rd movie in the Monster Fest movie. Problem is, so I got 2 British movies. I got one movie that is distinctively British, but it's American because it was produced with American money and starred Vincent Price. And then the 4th movie, I think, you know, maybe you guys, we can get a little poll going in the audience. Should it be a Japanese horror film? Should I review a Japanese horror film? Not going to say which Japanese horror film. There are 2 that I want to do, but I only have time to do 1 because if I have to hurry up and get the 3rd one done, and I have to get writing the 4th one, and then I have to find time to write a Holy Diver show for the month of October if there's any time left. And that's the problem. You just don't have so many things to do, don't have the time. There's never enough time. I already ditched out some of my Saturday. I noticed my car was leaking coolant while I was lifting weights in the garage, looking at my neighbor who's doing gardening on the side of my house. And I'm like, I asked him if he wanted any help. No, this is how he's like 70 or something. This is how he gets his exercises, tending to his garden. But I definitely, either want to get into the Beastmen or I want to take this Warmaster project seriously. I don't know which one I'm going to do. I know that I should take this seriously so that I can play a game of Warmaster, because that might bring some views to my channel. You know, because let's face it, you know, at this point, if I can just get 200 subscribers and go to 3K, I can rest easy. I'd be like, I literally thought I could get to 5,000. That was never going to happen. I could literally rest easy. But if I could just get my 3K, I would be happy. I would be happy. That would be like the last and final middle finger to YouTube right there. Like, I did it. And they're like, oh, no, you didn't. We just unsubscribed them all from you. Don't you dare. All right, let me put this guy aside, let him dry. Bam. Let's touch this green up. I think that's what I'm going to do tonight, is finish this stand of guys and this skeleton man right here, courtesy of Celtic Miniatures. And you only need a little bit of green. Once that green ink is on, all you need is a little bit of green, and the green will just really stick to it like a fly to shit. Hey, I'm maintaining frame. I feel like a pro. Got my microphone all down next to me and everything. Sound quality shit. My autism won't let me watch. Not from Knightsbridge. Hard pass. I think I might want to do this project because, you know, I could really, really think hard about Bretonnian color schemes while I do it. Plus, my friends and I are kind of tired of the 10th edition rules, you know. I mean, the game is crap. Me and my friend were talking about that this morning while I was getting my car inspected, because I wanted to know where the source of the coolant leak came from. Then my neighbor looked at me like I was some kind of savage. Oh, you're cleaning up the coolant with kitty litter and then sweeping it to the edge of the garage and then picking it up and throwing it in your trash can? The whole point of life is to become affluent enough to have migrants do that work for you, because that's a poopy job. The British guy is coming out today because, every time I look on eBay, it's always in the UK. That's where the good stuff is. You should really come to the UK if you want to buy painted armies. Whoops. I'm going to have to go off screen here. Well, maybe not. Yeah, we got it. We got it. There we go. We got it. And you can mix the paint with a little bit of ink, and that makes it stick even better, because, again, you're just touching it, and it's just kind of a wash. And a little bit will go a long way. Do up their little flags on their lances green as well. We'll make, yeah, some of them, we'll just make them all green because, you know, you really want to move through these little guys as fast as you can. You know, again, once they're done and you have them all ranked up in their unit, it just, you don't really have to backtrack it. That dry, now we can go back to washing. Still a little bit wet, can't go back to the other sprue, but, or maybe I can, I think I could bring out some of those Macedonians and paint their other bits and put those 27 guys together. There's a lot of things that I can get done. One thing's for sure, I'm just gonna pick this up real quick. I don't want to pick it up that way, it's pointy. Ooh, don't spill anything. I want to finish this. I just want to have 3 colors on it. I see now that this is a really shitty project to do. Like, really, really shitty. Like, look at all that crap. Like, Games Workshop, what the fuck were you thinking? We're going to sculpt these really, really, really cool buildings, and then you're never going to want to paint them because it's like an endurance run. It never fucking ends. Yeah, that can stay there, but like I said, I've upped my terrain game a little bit. I'm going to be getting some forest flats pretty soon. And then I think I'll be up to 6 full fantasy tables. So, you know, Gatekeeper Con can actually become a thing. Then I just actually have to buy physical tables that everything can sit on. And then I have to find a venue once I think I have enough tables. I think that, you know, maybe, you know, what would be cool if 20 people showed up, but then I wouldn't have enough tables, you know. You got to start small, though. You know, you got to start small. I'll come up the chat in a second here. Oh yeah, I really want to get this Warmaster project done. All right, what do we got here? These are 10 millimeter. Well, hung and dung. These are 10 millimeter. All right. Yeah, a lot of the, what I don't get is like, if some of these rich women, if you are Amaranth, you can have your eggs scraped out. It's women don't want to do anything hard. I think you actually have to get on some kind of pill. Like, women can make a lot of money if they're young selling their eggs. It's just that they have to be on a specific. I think they have to be on a specific diet, and they have to do some kind of what do you call it? Hormone treatment. And then they have to go in and get them scraped out. But they can make a crap ton of money if they sold some of their eggs. Like I think it's like above 8,000. Don't quote me on that. I mean, well, we can go down this rabbit hole, but it's like a hard thing to do, and it puts you off. It puts you off, and if anything puts a woman off, they don't want to do it. If they have to bend over and pick something up, they would rather die. That's where modern women in the West are, Everything is just to Karen's benefit. Yeah, it's about the black powder size. I haven't seen any actual Warmaster figures from Games Workshop. All I've seen are these. But from what I've been told, it's 10 millimeter. So you're going to run Patton in a weird World War II scenario. Does Patton have any special powers besides being George C. Scott, the man who is Patton? What's up, weird World War II? How you doing? Rick Priestley did do what do you call it? He did all of the Hail Caesars or Hail Caesar based games. The one he didn't have a hand on pike and shot. He had a hand on the Napoleonic game, Black Powder, and Hail Caesar is also his baby. I think Pike and Shot was the game that was written more by the owner of. It was written more by the owner. He's just a badass. Another good Halloween movie to be reviewed. I might want to consider doing that one. Is The Changeling. I just don't think I could get into a review of the Exorcist 3 with George C. Scott, which is one heck of a movie. Really good movie. But there's a lot of subject matter to talk about there because Brad Dourif is just so good in that movie, Yeah, the rules. He did the rules for Hail Caesar, Black Powder. Not to mention he wrote 5th edition Warhammer, and then Alessio Cavatore wrote 7th edition. I forgot who wrote 6th. I think he had a hand on writing 6th. Well, you don't have a lot of actors like George C. Scott anymore. George C. Scott, I think he won 3 Academy Awards and he never accepted them. He's like, an award is the last thing I needed. I don't think I did a good job in Patton. Carl Malden also won Best Supporting Actor, and I think he accepted the award on George C. Scott's behalf. Yeah, but I do know that I think he won 3 Academy Awards and he never collected them. Hold on. George C. Scott never accepted his Academy Awards.
According to Sportskeeda, Scott was against the award because of his philosophical beliefs. The actor was always vocal about his decision and had previously claimed that he would not accept an Oscar should he win one because he believed in his principles.
Yeah, he said the last thing we need are people giving awards out with heaping prizes and $6,000 watches. How many Academy Awards has George C. Scott won?
According to Wikipedia, Scott was an American actor, director, and producer who had a celebrated career on both stage and screen. Over the course of his career, he earned 4 Academy Award nominations, winning for Best Actor for his performance in Patton.
So 2. He won 2 and he never picked them up. Maintain that frame. Hell yeah. Green is the most overwhelming color on these guys, so even if you get it everywhere, you can touch it up once as you go with the other colors, as you go with the wood, as you go with the metallics, because once you pass metallics on this scale, there's just really, and you touch up the brown, you're basically done with the model. Then it's like you decide whether or not you want to add gold, and then you wash it and you throw it to the side. You put them in their notches. You put your static grass on them and you're done. It should be easy peasy, especially if you're a casual hobbyist and you don't want to spend a lot of money, but you damn sure want to play some Warmaster. All right. This is annoying, though. It is annoying to do. I don't know where my tweezers are. Huh. Maybe this will help me just a little bit. I always think it's going to help me, and then it never helps. Oh, what's up, DM James? How you doing? Oh, you're very right there, MZ52. George C. Scott was an American treasure. Christopher Lee what an actor he was. A career that spanned 5 decades, And actually, in the review, I'll give a little bit up about the review. If I ever do another Dracula review, he always gets the Slayer Pit Award for being the man who is Dracula. I will not accept Bela Lugosi in that role. I will only accept Christopher Lee because he literally is the man who is Dracula. And I can actually turn, and I will prove it. I will prove it. Give me 1 second. I'll prove it. All right? I will prove it. Hold on here. I got a photo I'll just show up right now. I could probably do it on a Google search real quick. Not this one, though. Any of, let's see here. There it is right there. Boom. All right, we'll go back in and we'll do screen cap. All right, boom. Get this to blow up here. I mean, just look at this picture alone after I blow it up. This is why he's Dracula. Literally. I mean, look at that picture, just the way he's framed up. You got Veronica Carlson, the virginal beauty. You got this gothic, dark majesty figure right there. He is Dracula. End of story. It's uncontestable. You know, I mean, look, the only thing Lugosi had on Christopher Lee is that Lugosi was first. That's it. Lugosi only reprised the role twice, and he was also in the play. You know, so I'll give him that, but he was not called back again and again for 9 movies to be Dracula. You know? I think I got one more. Open that one up. Oh, of course. You know, just look at him. He's got that blood-sucking creatures of the night, nocturnal specter hiding from the light face, you know? That's Slayer. At dawn they sleep. I should do a metal mythos of vampiric metal, you know, but he's got that cape on and everything. He's clad in black. He really is the character. They say that cape weighed 30 pounds, the whole wardrobe for Dracula, because I don't know what kind of cape it was. I think it's a hard riding cape that's lead lined or something like that to keep things from puncturing you while you ride. And I know that they made such capes later on in the Victorian era, but it's one of those. They say the cape weighed 30 pounds. But yeah, he really was. Why the hell is this open? Go away. Go away. He really was Dracula. You know, look at the. There's a good shot right there. She's just waiting for it, you know? Yeah. Lugosi's got nothing. He's got nothing. Nothing on Christopher Lee. Nothing. There he is with a couple of Hammer horror babes, you know? That, I mean, this is, you know, I mean, I don't know, just, yeah, they got nothing. Lugosi got nothing, all right? I'm probably speaking horror blasphemy right now. But, you know, this is the time where you're supposed to get into this kind of stuff, you know? And, you know, Halloween is not my favorite holiday, contrary to most belief. But, you know, it's up there in number 3, you know? I'd say it's a good number 3. Easter's my favorite holiday. I kind of like, I like the Easter candy better. Like, Easter candy is better than Halloween candy any given day of the week. Like, Easter candy blows Halloween candy out of the water, kind of. Go back to the table. Minimize this one. Minimize. Oh my god. Close, close, close. I gotta figure out where my chat is gone. There it is. All right. Okay, there we go. Then we can go back in here. You have to get all this green on, or else you can't do anything with the miniature, you know? You can't see them. They're just too small. Oh, plenty of battery for once. Get this one going instead. All right. What version of Dracula did you get on Audible? There's a lot of versions out there, which is surprising considering the fact that it was an English book, and it really hasn't changed all that much. I believe the actual I guess there would be different versions given the fact that the book, I think, has lapsed into public domain finally, and that's how they were able to make Dracula Voyage of the Demeter. Yeah, I think he is in public domain, or at least the play's in public domain. Oh yeah, he's in public domain. Castlevania and the Universal version are owned. If Universal was smart, they would just let those monsters lapse into. They'd let their monster films lapse into public domain because I think people could remake them and do a better job. Let's see here. Hollywood can't make a decent movie anymore. They're done. They're literally done because you go back into the 70s, 80s, and hell, even up to the late 90s, Hollywood could make a good blockbuster. But now everybody's got to be gay. They've got to be big, fat, black girl bosses going, you don't want an experience, BBBW, running the whole show. Every black woman's got to be Amanda Waller from DC Comics. They've all got to be big, fat, black, lesbian girl bosses. I mean, just look at Wakanda. Look at that. I mean, the women only had two. None of the women were attractive. They only had two types of hair: bald or Ronald McDonald. That's why they were all shaving their heads, because they didn't want to have Ronald McDonald hair. And it was just, none of it's good. None of it's good. They can't write anything anymore. But you go back to like when Steven Spielberg did a movie. It was a filmmaker making a movie. It wasn't. You didn't. Basically, what you have is that every movie they make now is basically the tragedy of Alien 3. You have a decent director. Michael Fincher is not terrible. Hold on. I think he's films directed by Michael Fincher. He did Fight Club. Yeah, that was the one I couldn't think of off the top of my head. Michael Fincher is not a terrible director. And let's see, you got another one? He's got to have another one. I guess you give him the Black Dahlia. I've never seen that, but I've seen it a lot in the video store. Whatever the game is, but Fight Club was a really good movie, and he's not terrible. But what you have is corporate overreach. You have focus groups. You have too much IP in the hands of too few companies. Like if I could go back in time, I would tell Stan Lee to make his parting gift to the world: put Spider-Man in public domain. Before he sells it to Sony or something, I would have put it in my will that Spider-Man and his villains would be in the public domain. Or I would have put some of the lower characters like Punisher in public domain, Spider-Man, Blade. What's another one? What's another Marvel superhero that could be in public domain? Maybe the original X-Men. if they were put into public domain, things would be safe. You would have indie films and indie writers, doing animated works or something like that. You would actually have decent storylines, but all they know is how to break shit. That's all Hollywood knows now. That's all they do is break shit. And none of what. And then you got the writer's strike. We need more money because AI is going to take our jobs. You know what? The best thing to come out of the strike is that Stephen Colbert won't be able to write an episode of his stupid show by himself. That's the best thing to come out of the writer's strike. I mean, you look at the writers right now, like the guy who was at the I forgot what protest, but he assaulted Dick Masterson, and he's one of the writers of Frasier. Hold on, what was his name? Frasier writer assaults Dick Masterson. Oh yeah, they were trying to cancel Dave Chappelle. And this douchebag comes over and rips his sign down. And Dick Masterson's sign said, "I like jokes. Jokes are funny." There you go. I like jokes and jokes are funny. And and that's the kind of douchebag you have writing Frasier. And there's a lot of nepotism in there. Just because you're the son of Ivan Reitman, the guy who directed Ghostbusters, doesn't mean that you're a good director. So you have all this, you got a lot of nepotism. You got a lot of like big fat 8th grader kids who inherited their jobs off of their genius parents for the most part. I inherited my job at the studio from my dad, George Lucas, and now I'm running this little piece of Star Wars over here after Kathleen Kennedy's wrecked it into the dirt because we need to have all that girl boss energy, Every single movie they're painting white men as the villain. White men have got to be the villain, and they got to send out this message about how much we like faggot shit and trans shit, So... And then they're going to keep shoving it in your face. And, like I said, whenever a new movie comes out, or anything else, just pay it the indifference it deserves. I almost don't even want to use Amazon anymore. I think I'm going to cancel my Amazon subscription. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to buy the Shudder app on my Roku TV. And that's how I'm going to access... Joe Bob Briggs' The Last Drive-In. I'm done watching it through Amazon. I'd rather just pay the it's actually cheaper if I do that. If I just pay the $4.99, and then if there's a movie I really want to see on Amazon, I'll have a ton more money to just buy it and move on. I buy it on eBay for pennies on the dollar because people don't fancy physical media anymore. Or like in the I can see the point for the stream. Streaming a movie. I got so lazy that whenever I wanted to watch Aliens, I put Aliens in my Amazon library. I bought the movie. I brought the Ultra 4K edition and put it in my library because I got tired of physically taking out the DVD and then putting it in the Xbox, booting up the Xbox to watch a DVD. But there's a lot of movies that I still do that with. A lot of my anime is analog anime. So. For what's not locked up in storage, the animes that I kept, the very few box sets that I kept, it's all analog. Need a little drop of steel, a little cold steel. That's another thing. DC could have put a lot of that stuff, like, put Batman in the public domain. I know Batman's like a giant freaking money maker, but there are better writers out there that could do a better job if some of this stuff was in public domain. And then, the stuff that is in public domain, this is where I differ with Razor Fist. I don't think a lot of people care about The Shadow or Dick Tracy. All right, it's okay. It's if 40s pulp is your thing, it's not really my thing. I should really check out his what do you call it? his Western that he's writing. Apparently that's pretty good. And he's a decent artist too. You know, he's everything I'm not. Successful. Ha ha. Dun dun dun. Everything that I'm not. Successful. But, you know, I mean, if somebody came out with a decent Dick Tracy comic and I heard about it on, you know, Raging Golden Eagle or through Razorfist or something, maybe I would Google search it and see if it's worth picking up a copy. But they've almost, you know, another problem you have is that they've made it almost impossible to self-publish and sell physical books, which is kind of the whole point of comic books in and of itself. I don't want to read a comic book PDF. I mean, I will, but I'd rather own the book. Oh yeah, don't get me started on Paul W.S. Anderson. Here's a guy who gets all of these big jobs. Like I think Paul W.S. Anderson did the first Mortal Kombat, which is a heck of a movie. That when I was growing up, that was a Saturday staple. That, you know, if I can name 5 movies that seem to run on cable television like AMC and Encore, because my parents, they had their channels. They even had the movie channel from time to time, and if you were watching that pretty late at night, you got to see some softcore shit too, you know. That's where I ran into Joe Bob Briggs the first time. I'd always be looking for Joe Bob's show when he was on the movie channel. And so you got this, what do you call it here? You got Paul W.S. Anderson. He does a really good job. I still think Street Fighter is better than Mortal Kombat, but you got these movies. You got The Crow, you got Street Fighter, you got Mortal Kombat, you had Tank Girl, and there was one more movie. Oh, Mallrats. Those movies always seemed to be on cable during a Saturday afternoon once wrestling was over. And, you know, sometimes, you know, I'd just spend an entire Saturday in front of the TV, you know. Because that's how you do in the suburbs sometimes. You don't have it. I wasn't one of the rich kids. I didn't have any money. If I was lucky, I had money and I could go to the arcade. I could walk my fat ass over to the mall and go to the arcade, but most of the time I didn't, you know. So it was either TV or Super Nintendo, or we you know, my friends would be out doing something and I'd just be home, you know. Watching movies, but those 5 movies always seemed to be on whenever I was young. They always seemed to be on. Mallrats wasn't a terrible film. The thing I hate about Kevin Smith is just, you know, he kind of laid the ground. You watch a movie like Chasing Amy, and you see all this SJW bullshit coming from him back then, you know. You know, and I really think, you know, he had a hand in starting this underground, I'm going to ruin comic books for everyone movement. You know, and a lot of this bullshit that we have now started with Chasing Amy. A lot of the bullshit we have started with Chasing Amy. Oh, a woman can write a comic book just as good as a man. Most women, repeat after me, most women who are in the industry are not Rumiko Takahashi. End of story. Most women who are in the comic book industry are not Rumiko Takahashi, or they're not the girl who wrote Sailor Moon. You know, and I'll just use Rumiko Takahashi, the creator of Urusei Yatsuna and Inuyasha. Inuyasha is really well written, and the action sequences inside of that manga are also really, like, they're action packed. You know, I mean, and she wrote good characters. She was, I mean, you're talking about the woman who created the love triangle that's in every single anime we have today. There's always a stupid love triangle. You got two guys and one girl, or you got one girl and one dude and two guys, or it's, you know, you might even say that because of the love triangle, she might have spawned in later renditions harem anime or whatever it is, where you got this one mediocre dude who's the only dude swimming in a sea of bitches. But, you know, I mean, there's a lot of shitty points in that story, you know, but, you know, when you're watching Adult Swim back then, you might as well just go to Best Buy, because you don't want to wait an entire weekend to see if Kagome and Inuyasha are going to hook up. P.S. It never happens. Until, like, after the series has ended. And she had to be and she was a top-notch writer, and, you know, she's not as good as Akira Toriyama in the art department. I think her drawing, if you look at some of her earlier drawings when she started, you know, she really improved. Then she got a staff, and then, you know, but to wake up and be worth $70 million, I wouldn't shake a stick at that, you know. But the thing that she did best was, you know, you look at, like, the character of Kagome or whatever. She's just a normal girl. It's a normal girl, and she doesn't have a lot of special powers past using her bow. If you get in close combat with her, she's got to rely on a man who's half demon to bail her ass out of the sling. That was another funny thing about, like, Sailor Moon. Like, I had a girl I dated who watched that, and, you know, it seemed like 90% of the episodes there would be a monster that kicks the shit out of all of them. They would beat the shit out of every single character in that show. They'd all lose. They'd be sitting there on the brink of death, and then they were wholly dependent on some dude wearing a tuxedo to come in armed with nothing but a rose to come and save their asses in the 11th hour. I don't know how anybody could watch that crap. She seemed to, and I got so sick and tired of it. I told her to beat your feet the fuck out of my life. But I think that's a strong plot stone right there. Yeah, you can have a woman be the lead, but make her a woman at the end of the day. You know, she's not the girl boss, Amanda Waller, with all of the superpowers like Rey Palpatine at the end of Star Wars. Oh, I can just immediately bring you back to life, kiss you, and then let you die. I guess that's how that series ended. I mean, I never watched any of it, but, you know, just look at how bad Star Wars is in contrast. Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. All done fucked up today. Okay, we can put that back. We're actually going to... Keep that out. Let's just get some brown and we'll do the brown real quick. You're kidding me. There's no BB in there? There's got to be a BB in there. I knew it! You hear that? We just got to give our paints a good shake. I'm Duncan Rhodes. Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen some advertisements on that. I'm gonna have to check out those new Lady Death comics. Brian Pudou. How do you pronounce his last name? I don't know. Piddu. Let's see here. Yeah, I've seen him advertising on Instagram about his indie project. Dude, this guy's decent. That's actually really good. And that's what, you know, this is what guys want to see. I want to see that. Lady Death is a mega babe. She's an icon. She almost deserves her own poster, but I got Vampirella. But, you know, I think that Lady Death, Vampirella, and who else? Red Sonja, they've been palling around for years in cross issues, you know? And, I mean, they were palling around back in the days when are they even still publishing Heavy Metal Magazine? With how woke that company's become, I don't even think Eastman works at Heavy Metal anymore. I don't even think he works there anymore. I think he just takes his cut and moved on. Because everything's got to go woke. So they're good. All right, I'll have to take a look at that. As a matter of fact, I will eBay search some of these books and see if I can pick them up, or I'll go to the website and buy some. Eastman sold. There you go. Again, when you're not, and this is a classic example, when you don't allow the artist to create, you don't have anything. You have nothing. If you don't allow the artists to create, you got nothing. You got absolutely nothing. And that goes back to what I said about David Fincher and Alien 3. You have corporate overreach based on what they want to see. They couldn't decide on what they were going to do. Now, there's a audio book. There's an audio book starring Lance Hendrickson and Michael Beale. That was the script. They took the original script that they were going to use, where Ripley in the third one is basically in a coma. She only has like a couple of lines, and they're going to make Corporal Hicks the hero in the third one, which would have been a blockbuster. And then you could have ended the series. You could have ended the series with Newt and Hicks getting back to Earth, meeting up with Ripley, and they on the shores of like Seattle, which is where Newt's grandparents lived, and they lived happily ever after. That is how you could have ended Aliens once and for all. And then you could have let Dark Horse do whatever they were going to do, because Dark Horse did a lot of good shit. They did a lot of good stuff on there, you know. Within that series, they did a lot of good shit. Gotta get some water. There we go. There we go. I mean, Aliens Genocide, probably one of my favorite books. One of my favorite 4 books. And then Earth War's not bad either. I really like the cover art on those. That's why they're up on the wall. Dark Horse, they made magic in the 90s. Again, all my Bretonnian horses are just brown, or they're bestial brown. You won't let the artists be artists, you got nothing. Sad part about Heavy Metal Magazine is I used to pick up 1 issue a month at the 7-Eleven in the early aughts at around 2006 to 2010. I don't think I missed an issue in the 7-Eleven where they sold it. And it would just be sitting there for all the world to see. And, you had 4 good years, and then it tapered off. They stopped selling it. They stopped selling magazines, in convenience stores and everything. Because they don't want you hanging out there. That's the stupid part. I remember when gas stations used to have a couple of arcade games, or, heaven forbid the bar that I go to has a couple of arcade games that I could sit down and play. Last time I went to a bar and they had Street Fighter 2, I must have beat like 20 people in that bar. I mean, there were a couple of people who gave me a run for my money, but I was sitting there just, Hadouken. And they're like, oh, do you know how to do anything else? Yeah. Tempayuki, Senpayuki to the face, motherfucker. You got too close, so I hurricane kicked you. Only later did I find out when I switched sides, 2 of the punch buttons on the other side were broken, so I was not God. I thought I was God. I'm not God. I'm not Yoda. I'm not a Street Fighter Yoda. I'm a scrub. Definitely a scrub. And when you're drunk and trying to play and the buttons are broken, I'm not going to toot my horn. So I will be truthful. I will never lie to you people. All right? What's up, Jedi? How you doing? My 3 favorite books, like what kind of books? Comic books, novels. Be a little more specific, buddy. I actually own a couple of Witchblade comics. I have Witchblade versus I think it's Witchblade vs. Predator and Aliens. There's a female Predator in that one, and she was kind of badass. I called her Big Mama by the end of that one. Yeah, be a little more specific with that question. Novels or comics, Ari? Oh, it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite series. Aliens Genocide, really good. There's 4 books inside of that series, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's just 4 books. It's 4 issues. I mean, I can go upstairs and get it right now, but that would take me a minute because I don't know which box they're in. I have 2 boxes of comics in storage at my dad's, and I have 2 boxes here. I wasn't a huge comic book guy. I did, one thing I did do was I got issues 1 through 20 of Teen Titans Go when they were exploding on Cartoon Network because I thought that they'd be worth something. They're not. There you go. So yeah, Aliens Genocide. But if I had a favorite comic, it's that Wolverine comic. I think it was done by Brisby. Oh God, who was that English? I gotta know now. Weapon X. Who did that? Barry Windsor Smith, MFer. Yeah, Weapon X. Windsor is just really good. Like, there's this. God, I'll have to. In the next one, we'll go through that book a little bit. There's this one part where like Logan's just sitting on a chair, and he did some foreshortening work on the chair. Like, are you kidding me? This guy foreshortened a human foot. Are you kidding me? Do you know how hard that is? Feet are kind of hard to do in general. Hands are hard. Wolverine has got to be one of the hardest superheroes to do because he's always, you always got to draw 2 closed fists whenever Wolverine's involved. Or you gotta have some fingers out and you gotta have the claws. I mean, but yeah, just look at that alone right there. Hold on. Oh, he did some Conan stuff. Wolverine. It's just images. What do we got? I should bring some of this up on screen, but I'd rather flip through the book. I'm just going to find one example. I mean, that's some really good, like, really, really good stuff right there. Like, it's unimaginably good. It's unimaginably good. Drawing all that hair is annoying as all hell. Just doing all that hair up, spending the time to do that, and just even in black and white, it's amazing. Colored, it's even better, but damn. That's one of my favorite books. That Weapon X book is one of my favorite books. If I had to choose a novel, Dracula and Beowulf. Beowulf being one of my favorite. Let's face it, it's still right here. It's still right here. Beowulf, the Penguin edition. I got it down to, and then Unfa spoke, one of Hrothgar's warriors who was sitting at the feet of the father of the Shieldings. He could not allow that any other man should hold a higher name than his own. Is this the Beowulf of Brecca's swimming match, when for pride the pair of you proved and tested the seas? A sorry contest. Your arms embraced the ocean streams, you beat the way wove your hand movements, the seas boiled with waves of winter. You labored 7 nights, and then you lost. His might was greater. Morning found him on the shore, Morning found him on the coast of Norway. He made his way home, did Breaker, son of Bernstein, perform to the letter what he promised to you. A man, oh, I lost my spot. Performed to the letter what he promised to you. I see little hope then of a happier outcome, though in other conflicts elsewhere in the world you may indeed have prospered, if you intend on waiting in Grendel's, if you intend on waiting Grendel all night on his own grounds, unarmed. Then Beowulf spoke, son of Edgethau. I thank my friend Unfuth, who unlocks us his tale of Breaker's bragged exploit. The beer in his gut lends eloquence to his tongue. But as for the truth, I had more sea strength. Yeah, this is my favorite book. I had more sea strength, and endured underwater worse struggle than he. Good stuff, So there's that, but yeah, so I hope that gives you a better idea of just some of the books that I like. But that Weapon X, yeah, that was like the Holy Bible in the 90s. Every kid had a copy of that. There were some people who bought like 4 copies and they postered their rooms with that. Oh, we're running into that time again, gentlemen. We're running into that time again. But as for the truth, I had more sea strength and endured underwater worse struggle than he. It was something the two of us said as boys, boasting how we should venture our lives on the ocean, which in due time we accordingly did. Hard in our right hand, we each held a sword as we swam through the seas. As we each held a sword in our hand as we swam through the seas. Thus, stroke for 7 days, we stitched the ocean until a current came up and split us, a churning of waters and chillest of weathers, blackness lowering, north wind bending, hostile against us. The waves were rough. The swimming contest then aroused the fishes of the deep. Against these beasts my body armor held me, this forged knit battle shirt, bright with gold. Then a savage attacker grabbed me, pinned me to the bottom in his grip, but I got the chance to stab the ugly creature with my weapon's point. Then more loathsome snouts snickered by me, swarmed at my throat. But they picnicked not on me. They sat not down to dine on Beowulf. Morning found them, mauled by my sword, up along the beaches, soundly asleep. Since then they have never troubled any other traveler over that deep waterway. Day in the east grew. I could then see the headlands and the windy cliffs. I came with my life from the compass of my foes. But fate is often merciful to the brave man, and it was my part to put to the sword 7 sea monsters. A man more sorely pressed the seas never held. No whisper has yet reached me of sword ambition, nor survived such scathing perils in connection with your name. Never have you, Breaker, nor you, Unfuth, either framed such a deed with your shining swords. I tell you, Unfuth, Grendel had never grown such a terror. Had your heart's intention been so grim for battle as you give us to believe, he's learned that there's no need to fear your people, and spares not a single sprig of you Danes in extorting his tribute. That's so these 2 warriors, these Vikings, talk shit back and forth one another, and then Beowulf's basically, I'll show him gauge his strength and stubbornness shortly enough now, a lesson in war. Let him who is I should really memorize this better. I keep trailing off. Anyway, let's get the Iliad's really good. The Iliad is really good. You know, you can what's funny is that I think the whole thing for Beowulf is about an hour and 20 minutes to tell it orally, and then people used to do 15-hour productions of the Iliad. You know, I mean, you know what would be cool is if you got 4 guys to recite the entire Iliad. I think it could be done, but you know, I think you might need 5 guys. What is that? That would be 3 hours apiece for every single guy. And that would come in and tell their part of the story. That's a 15-hour production. Anyway, that's about it. We started the show a little bit early today, so it's only fitting we end the show just a little bit early today, you know. So I want to thank everybody for watching. If you want to get in touch with me, you can go over to Instagram and talk to me over there using the DMs. It's real easy for me to give you an answer to any questions on painting that you might have. Leave a comment down in the comments below if you have any questions. I always answer the comments. If you want to help the channel grow, go over to Soy Free Warhammer, link in the description below, and subscribe to me on Rumble. And that's really the best thing you can do for me. Anyway, as you know, YouTube has many features you can use to interact with me. You can like the video, dislike the video, comment, or subscribe. But until I see you again, keep painting, keep playing, and stay metal, my friends. And we'll see you in the next Holy Diver'S Hangout.